welcome to another episode of Get Real Bass Fishing. Today we are in the shop. I wanted to go outside and talk about what I'm going to talk about here. However, just like everywhere else on Long Island, there is some sort of construction going on right down the road, and there's loud noises and bangings and all that fun stuff that you don't really want to hear in the background of a video. So we're down here in the shop. I've been fishing very often in this freezing cold weather. Ice cold. Like, I went fishing the other day. I didn't catch anything, but I froze. I was absolutely freezing, and I came home and I was sitting in front of a heater for about an hour and a half. But I'm still fishing. And that's kind of what this video is about. So I've committed to doing 50 days of fishing and posting fishing content twice a week. So every Monday and Thursday there will be a video. So if you're watching this every single Monday and Thursday, there will be a video, whether there's skunks or we're catching a lot of fish, whatever it might be. But I have a plan for this winter. Usually most of us sit out the winter and just wait for the fish to come back in March or April and maybe go out when it's warmer in May. So we're waiting 5-6 months. Not about it. Not happening on here. So we're going to be fishing every single day, whether that's for sunnies, largemouth bass, crappie, if we're going for catfish, if we're going for holdover stripers, going for trout, whether it's on Long Island or doing day trips or 2-day trips out of state or even upstate, whatever it might be, we're going to be doing some sort of video. We're going to be uploading twice a week. So if you don't get a notification and you're like, oh man, it's been 2 weeks, is Get Real Bass Fishing still uploading? I certainly am. Every single week we will be uploading something. Yeah, so I've got 2 babies now, so it's gonna be difficult, but it's gonna be a fun experience. We're gonna be catching fish. We're gonna be learning something on the water. We're gonna be teaching you, whether I'm catching fish or not, there's some sort of education or entertainment coming out every single week. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications just in case you don't see the content coming up on your YouTube homepage, which is usually what happens this time of year. The views YouTube doesn't push out, whatever it might be, but we're still uploading, we're still fishing, and we're going to go through the entire winter learning something and catching some fish. Because I don't know about you, if you're watching this, chances are you are a real one and you're out there fishing, or you want to be out there fishing this time of year. You want to catch fish. So I can't sit at home and wait 6 months to go fishing. So I'm going to be fishing every single week, maybe every single day. I have the opportunity to do so. So I'm going to be trying to catch some fish, and I know you guys want to too. So to make this not some sort of announcement video, I do have some rods and reels, because maybe 3 videos ago, I did a video where I talk about the baits, the lures, what you should be using, or what I use a lot in the winter to catch fish. So today, since we're still around the holidays and there's going to be sales on almost every single website for Christmas and gifts and whatever, I have some rods and reels here that I want to talk about, because this is going to be my main gear that I use for winter fishing wherever I am, whether it's for trout, holdover stripers, bass, sunnies, whatever it might be. Really, these 4 action rods are what I'm going to be using. So if you guys want to know what to use, this is it. So let's jump right into it. First, I know a lot of you aren't fly fishermen, but in the winter, sometimes it gets really, really tough and you have to downsize that much, especially when we're going for some trout or sunnies. Everything's tangled up right now. Sometimes I wonder how this stuff happens. All right, so I do have some fly rods. This isn't going to be my only fly rod that I use this year. This is a 6.5 foot. It says it's a 5 to 6 weight. I highly doubt that. It feels more like a 4 weight, a 3-4 weight. I don't know if it's just because of the size. I mean, I'm not an expert fly fisherman, but a 4 weight or a 3 weight fly rod is what I'm going to be using a lot this year, mainly for some trout fishing. Where we are on Long Island, we don't have giant streams for trout or rivers for trout. We have very tight areas, so a little 6.5 foot fly rod is going to be super fun. Even if I just wanted to go out for some sunnies and have some fun with it, a 3 or 4 weight is going to be great. And this is just some cheap brand. I'm getting more fly rods for this year, so I'll update you on that. But another rod and reel that you guys saw a lot actually in the saltwater. Again, everything's tangled up. Go on. There's got to be like little fishing rod trolls that while you're carrying it just tangle everything up. How is this? There isn't even a line on this. There isn't a lure on it. How does this stuff happen? All right, so here's another rod. You guys saw this a lot in the saltwater. This is actually my fluke rod, my light tackle fluke rod. This is a St. Croix Triumph 6'10" medium light fast. This is a fantastic rod. I'll go over the exact fluke specs. So if you wanted to get this for winter fishing as well as using it for fluke fishing, you buy one rod, one reel, and you're set for both situations. But as far as freshwater, this is the Triumph that I told you, and I have a Shimano Stratic CI4 Plus. This is a fantastic reel. Let me take it off of here. It is a semi-sealed, mostly sealed freshwater reel, which you can also use in saltwater. Super, super smooth. You can only find these on eBay. They don't sell them anymore, so you're not gonna find them in stores, tackle shops. This was actually upgraded to the Vanford, which then the Vanford is also upgraded too. So I believe it's a Vanford A now, but essentially this is what the Vanford replaced, is the Stratic CI4 Plus. This is a 2500 series. I have 8-pound, I believe it's J-braid, or it could be super slick. I'm not really sure, I don't remember. Either way, it's 8 pounds. It's super, super thin. Whichever one was the thinnest, I'll have to check back, is what I went with for this. It's super, super lightweight. The drag is super smooth. And I also put on 8-pound mono leaders. But when it comes to either finesse fishing for some largemouth or even trout fishing, this is going to be my go-to setup for in rivers, creeks, whether I'm just throwing something lightweight, like a little tiny lipless crankbait. That's what I'm going to be using this setup for. I mean, it doesn't have to be this exact one. You can use another brand, whatever you want, but if I had to recommend one brand and one rod, it is this exact setup for finesse fishing in the winter, as well as having something set up for the fluke. And throughout the winter, we'll go over the fluke setup. All right, so let's go over to these. If you watched my previous video, which one is it? This one. You saw that I was fishing with a St. Croix GXR Bass Finesse rod, and this one actually had fantastic action on here. I threw an 1/8 ounce 6 cent swim bait finesse head with a 2.76 cents divine. Currently on here I have a spike spinner. If you want to purchase these are on the website. These I have been using, selling, gifting for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. I make them, I hand make them, and we catch so many fish on them, whether it's bass, pike, trout, whatever. Everything goes after a spike spinner. We have a couple designs, and that is the one that I'm probably going to be using a lot in the winter. It seems like here on Long Island and wherever else I fish in the winter, gold or brass seems to catch more fish than silver and flashy. So I usually go with the copper or the brass, gold colors for winter, and that is the perfect bait for it. But this is a GXR 6'10", medium light, extra fast rod, and this will also be one of those light action rods that I use for the winter, and it'll also work for trout. However, this is a GXR or a 7 reel from St. Croix. I'm not going to be throwing this one in the salt water because it is 0% sealed, so I don't want any salt getting in those bearings or anything else in this reel. So this reel is specifically for freshwater. I will throw on a Shimano of some sort, Stratic, Vanford, whatever, if I wanted to use this rod specifically for saltwater, for fluke fishing. Essentially, it's the exact same thing as the Triumph, but you can get the Triumph for, I think, $130, and this is actually combo for, I think, $200. So unless you want something entirely for freshwater, go with the Triumph and go buy a Shimano Stratic or a Vanford, or on eBay you can get the CI4 Pluses, I think, for $120. So it's like half the price of a Vanford and essentially the exact same thing. All right, so this is what I will be throwing a lot of baits on here. Same thing as that, finesse crankbaits, some finesse jerk baits, little tiny jerk baits, not like 110s or anything, maybe 90s. 6 cents makes a lot of those. So this is going to be one of those rods that if you wanted, go ahead and get. But like I said, you can get the Triumph for half the price, and you can go get a better reel if you want to use it for saltwater as well. Now bumping up to something a little bit heavier, say we are yo-yoing on a warm day, some lipless crankbaits. This is a GXR rod with a Shimano Stratic 3000, or is this, yep, Stratic 3000. However, this is my saltwater reel, so I do have 15-pound braid on here. I will be changing that very, very shortly to Suffix 832 10-pound braid. I really like the 832. The braid is super light, casts well, and doesn't really fade as much as the J-braid does. J-braid kind of gets wonky after a while. So I will be throwing 10-pound Suffix 832 on here. This is a GXR bass rod. This is their stick bait rod, and this is, I believe, a 7'1" medium fast. So essentially this is really, really good for almost everything that we're gonna throw. It's rated 3/16 to 5/8. I don't know if I'd be throwing half-ounce spinner baits on there just because it has a lot more drag and it has a bigger hook. But as far as half-ounce lipless crankbaits, even some square bills, if it comes down to it, maybe some smaller top waters like baby torpedoes. I got a jig on here currently. This is an 1/8 ounce jig. It doesn't cast very well with the 15-pound braid. You need something a little bit lighter and more finesse, like a 10-pound and maybe like 8-pound Seaguar Gold Label fluorocarbon. At most, I'm probably going to throw a 1/4 ounce jig on here, just smooch and release jig, just because I know the hook on there is essentially the same one as the 1/8 ounce, so it can still load up and actually set the hook on there. But this GXR rod, also a $200 combo if you wanted it with the Shimano Stratic. Stratics are on sale for a lot of companies right now for 200 bucks as opposed to the 250. But like I said, you can do the exact same thing with a CI4 Plus Stratic on eBay. You get a 3000 size. You can do the same exact thing as a regular Stratic and you save a ton of money. And the drag is a little bit smoother on the CI4 Plus and it's lighter. So you can do a lot with that. Yeah, so these are the main setups that I'm going to be using for the winter that I would recommend you get. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the St. Croix brand. You can get whatever those actions are. They're going to be a good all-around for everything that we're going to hit and target in the winter. If you see a video that I put out and you're like, oh, I want to go do that, those are probably going to be the exact same rods that I'm throwing this entire winter. When it comes into warmer weather, let's say late April, May, maybe a little bit earlier in April when things start to warm up and fish get a little bit more active, we can throw spinner baits out and really just burn them, or burn crankbaits or something a little bit heavier. Maybe we're throwing frogs and some lily pads that are starting up, because that's really good in April too. They start moving up shallow, looking for bedding areas, looking for sunnies, bait fish that are moving up. We're gonna try that with a little bit heavier rods. So this is really good until April-ish, and you can get a lot done. You catch the same amount of fish, it's just different presentations require different action rods to either work the bait or load the bait when you set the hook, because that's what you really need these actions for. But that's that. I got a bunch more reels inside of here. Essentially, they're the exact same thing. Stratics, Naskis, 3000s, 4000s. Oh, we got some winter gloves too. These are FROGGTOGGS gloves. They got some silicone grips, which are actually pretty good. A fleece gaiter for my neck because it's absolutely freezing. Woke up this morning, it was 12 degrees with the feels like temp. And you know it's gonna feel like that on the water, because basically everywhere we fish are wind tunnels. And once you're wet, you're freezing. We got some size 10 Quantums, Naski 4000, let's see, another Stratic or Naski 3000. If you are on a budget, a Sahara 3000, those are like $70, $80. What is this? Another Stratic CI4 Plus. This is a 2500 series with a super, super tiny spool. And basically all the rest are Naskis and Stratic 3000s. That's basically my go-to when it comes to spinning reels. I'm not really tossing too many bait casting gears. If I do, it's going to be on an A rig. So, you know, I got a bunch of 7 GF series bait casting reels, as well as some Shimano's as well. So that's the setup for this winter. I hope you guys are excited about 50 days of fishing and fishing throughout the winter. I know if you're watching this, you are the real ones. You care about my channel, you care about fishing, you want to learn how to fish in the winter. You're gonna go out and fish. So if you're this far, I know you're a supporter of this and a big fan of fishing. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys catch a lot of fish. Email me, DM me on Instagram, whatever, paulie@smoochandrelease.com. Send me some pictures. Let me know how you're doing. Or just leave a comment. Tell me how you're doing. You know, are you catching 5-pounders? Because usually bass fishing in the winter for me produces some of the biggest fish of the year. So we'll see. I mean, you'll see. I'll have it on video. But with that being said, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. Stay real, smooch and release, and have some fun on the water. I'll see you next time.